Dragon Quest has a reputation for being an incredibly traditional JRPG series, but that's only in the case of its mainline games. The franchise's numerous spin-offs dip into all kinds of genres, whether it be monster catching, dungeon crawling, or even action, and mix it with the familiar charm and aesthetic of the Dragon Quest world. Of all the various spin-offs in the franchise, however, the most interesting crossover of Dragon Quest and non-RPG gameplay probably comes from the Builder sub-series, which sees the franchise take on one of the most popular games of the last 20 years, Minecraft. To make a long story short, the Dragon Quest Builders games are pretty much glorified Minecraft clones. You're dropped into a world where everything down to the very ground you stand on can be dug up and used to make pretty much whatever you want. You can explore the world to gather up resources, or just to see what kind of biomes you can find. Or you can focus on building a town full of NPCs that can assist you in making supplies like food, or more building materials. Add to all this the simple yet effective aesthetic of a Dragon Quest game, and you have the perfect formula for creating a cozy survival sandbox RPG. And the first Dragon Quest Builders was exactly that. The game takes place in the world after the bad ending of the original Dragon Quest, with evil taking over the land and the people's ability to build and create lost to the ages. You play as the Builder, a person with the long-lost ability to create, and set out to restore human civilization which has been overrun by evil monsters. It's certainly a cheesy setup that wouldn't be out of place in a kids show, but it's an effective one nevertheless. The game starts you in one of 4 regions, and in each one you're tasked with rebuilding a city and bringing back the power of building to the people. You do this largely by fulfilling NPC requests, which always involve you coming up with a new recipe or using a blueprint to build a new facility. Each facility raises your town's level, which shows you how far you've come up from nothing. As your town grows, you'll also get more NPC villagers, who take up residence there and help with some of the day-to-day work. The NPCs in this game are some of the most interesting parts of Builders. While they are AI controlled, you do have some influence on their behaviors and roles. For example, you can designate some areas as rooms by building a particular closed-off space with certain specific items in it, such as making a bedroom by creating a space with a bed and a source of light. As long as a bedroom exists, your villagers will run there to sleep whenever night comes. They'll head to pretty much any random bedroom as long as there's space, but if you have a room sign, you can designate certain rooms as belonging to certain villagers, and they will always head to that room to sleep. It's nothing particularly groundbreaking, I suppose, but it did make the towns I built feel more alive. The formula defined by Dragon Quest Builders worked pretty well, but it wasn't until Dragon Quest Builders 2 that the concept really hit its stride, in my opinion. The story was a little more involved, characters had more of a role outside of just being quest givers, and the overall gameplay was just more intuitive and playable compared to the original game. It even had multiplayer, which was a core aspect of Minecraft's gameplay that was sorely missing from the original. I don't know enough about Minecraft clones to say for sure, but I feel like Dragon Quest Builders 2 has to be one of the best when it comes to games in that category. To be honest though, unless you're already a huge fan of Dragon Quest, I don't know if there's anything in Builders that would make you drop Minecraft for it. The games are not nearly as open and free as Minecraft is, which is honestly closer to software than it is a game. For some people, it's a canvas where you can basically build whatever you want, and they've made some incredible things in Minecraft just using the mechanics and materials offered to them. This creative potential is one element that has stayed unique to Minecraft, even after dozens of imitators, including Dragon Quest Builders, have tried to emulate its game experience. If you're already getting what you want out of Minecraft, whether it be as a survival sandbox, a city builder, or a creative outlet, I can't imagine that Dragon Quest Builders particularly catches your attention. In my experience, however, I have to say that the linear narrative of the Builders games is one thing that really made me appreciate it over Minecraft. I certainly respect Minecraft for giving players the freedom to do what they wanted with each instance, but for me, once the novelty wore off, it was hard to maintain interest in the game. I just felt like I was going through the motions every time I made a new world, and while there was technically a main questline to go through, I didn't really have much incentive to follow it. Now, I will admit that the narrative of the Dragon Quest Builders games are not Shakespeare. You're not embarking on an epic tale full of excitement and danger, and you're not going to meet characters with complex personalities and varied motives. The stories are thinly veiled justifications for you to build towards your next goal, or to keep upgrading and improving your base town. There are some story elements that certainly make for some interesting world building, but I gotta admit that it still doesn't really make for riveting storytelling. But it doesn't really need that, because what the Builders games lack in epic high-concept storytelling, they make up for with a cozy atmosphere and an incredibly dry sense of humor. The Dragon Quest games, for a long time, have honestly had a pretty understated penchant for being incredibly silly, and the Builders games certainly don't lack on that front. In addition, while the villagers could have been generic NPCs with little in the way of personality, they are instead actually full characters that even have their own little storylines to follow. It's not that much, but it is enough to motivate me to actually push through on the story and keep me playing the game for far longer than I normally would have. I also just love seeing the aesthetic and art style of Dragon Quest applied to a Minecraft-like game. I've definitely made no secret of my admiration for Dragon Quest's art, and Builders brings that aesthetic to a game that's more slow-paced and cozy than the usual DQ adventure. That's another small detail, and hell, I bet there's already a mod or a texture pack that makes Minecraft look like Dragon Quest, but it's still something that really appeals to me. Of course, I know that most of this comes from my general predisposition for JRPGs. I have no illusions about that. But if you're not wholly loyal to Minecraft, or if you're tired of looking at the same old voxel graphics, you might give the Dragon Quest Builders games a try. I think the games do a great job of capturing part of what makes Minecraft so massive, and what it does different in my opinion is enough to make it stand out as a game. But what are your experiences with the Dragon Quest Builders games? Do you think they stand up to Minecraft, or are they still pale imitations of the real thing? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to catch any videos I've got coming up. This was a video from Square One, and thanks for watching.